What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, and thank you all for tuning back into the channel today. The support from everyone has been insane, and I'm super grateful for all you guys. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that doesn't get near enough attention, and that's the payout us amateur racers are getting from motocross. For the racers watching right now, I'm sure you guys are well aware that racing amateur motocross unfortunately is not a money-making sport, but for those who aren't familiar, this video will fill you in and tell you everything you need to know. So I'm going to break this down into 3 different sections for you guys to understand. Does AMA pay amateurs? How can an amateur make money racing? And what bike brands pay amateurs the most? So, does AMA pay amateurs? Unfortunately, the short answer is no. While there is an exception for the Pro-Am class receiving payback on some races, AMA or the promoters it's associated with does not pay amateurs. In my opinion, I think a payout system for amateurs needs to be put into place. With how expensive the promoters have made amateur nationals, the profit margin is far too big to not be giving some back to the top racers that work so hard to show up to these events and dominate. A good example would be Loretta Lynn's amateur national, the biggest amateur national in the world, and is quadruple any other national throughout the year and offers zero payback to the racers. And due to this, I think a lot more families are moving away from racing motocross just because of how expensive these promoters have made racing, and it's just becoming unreachable in this day and age. Moving on to the second part of this video is how an amateur can make money racing. As we just went over in the previous part, there's no payout you can receive from the promoters or AMA unless you're in the A class. However, manufacturer contingency is an option a lot of racers overlook. For those who don't know what a contingency payout is, it's the bike manufacturers paying you for winning on their bike at national events. While you can argue that there are some sponsors that will put you on a payroll, that's farther and fewer between in the amateur ranks, so I wouldn't classify that as a great option to rely off making money racing as an amateur. Coming into the last part of the video is which bike manufacturers pay amateurs the most. While most every manufacturer pays, each brand has different payouts depending on the event. Coming in the top spot for best contingency is Kawasaki. While just this year in 2026 they dropped the win price down from these races from $750 down to $500. Well, I don't know exactly why they did that, but I am disappointed to say the least. Yet another brand has dropped contingency like KTM did last year. But not only does Kawasaki pay the best, they also offer a contingency payout on a debit card instead of an in-store credit like KTM does. What I mean by that is Kawasaki allows you to use contingency earnings anywhere you can spend a debit card, whereas KTM only allows you to use KTM contingency at authorized KTM dealers. I think most everybody would rather have their earnings on a debit card instead of being limited to where you can spend it. Coming in a close second for best payout would be Triumph. While they're relatively new in the motocross scene, their amateur support has surpassed many other brands already. They offer some of the same contingency payout as Kawasaki at most motocross races. However, they don't have their hands in the off-road side of things like Kawasaki does. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Triumph and would definitely like to ride one, but my only issue with them is the parts situation and only being able to get the parts through Triumph dealerships. Lastly, I have KTM and Yamaha's payouts. Like I mentioned earlier, KTM's payouts must be redeemed through an authorized KTM dealer, which in my opinion is a major bummer. But on the other hand, Yamaha works in the same way as Kawasaki does. Your earnings get loaded onto a debit card and you have free range to spend it wherever or however you like. The only downside about Yamaha is that their payouts aren't so great. So in my opinion, if you're going to ride a Japa bike, you might as well ride a Kawasaki to reap the rewards of the contingency program. While this all sounds great, I do want you guys to remember for all of these brands, your bike must be no older than 2 model years old. Now that it's 2026, if you're racing a 2023 model bike, you're no longer eligible for contingency payout. Personally, I think this is a major flaw in the programs, whereas I've been racing a 2022 KTM and have lost out on hundreds of dollars worth of contingency due to not wanting to switch to the newer model bike. I think said rule causes many racers to switch brands due to them not liking the newer model of the bike and moving to something that fits their liking. But if you guys are planning to make a switch to a different brand, I've been working on riding as many of the new 250s as possible so you guys can make the best decisions for your next bike. I'm working on getting a Yamaha review out soon and hopefully a Triumph in the future, so make sure you guys are keeping an eye out for those videos. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. I appreciate you all for stopping by. If you like the content, show the channel some love with a like and subscribe to see more videos like this one. But for now, here's a few more laps around the course and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.